Must be relieved after last week and let the lead slip to get the win today.
Yeah, well, you want to win your home games, don't you, if you can? And I thought the way we started the game today was really very good. And luckily, in that very good 20-25 minute spell, we got the reward that we were hoping for by getting the goal which put us in the lead. But I must say, they came back, I thought, with their best spell of the game between maybe the 25th or 30th minute and the half-time whistle, where they created one very good chance which required an incredible block from Martin Kelly to keep them out. And suddenly the game, which looked as if it was going to be pretty much in our control, was taken away from our control. But I'm very pleased that in the second half we came out and we certainly re-established that control, and it took a long while to get the second goal, which gave us the sort of relief that, okay, this isn't going to happen to us again. But I thought there were lots and lots of times during the second half we could have got the second goal.
Roy, it's I believe you've equalled a club record with 6 unbeaten at home in the Premier League today.
Right.
And also this season, just the one conceded. I mean, as well as the goal scorers, and perhaps you obviously played well today.
Don't remind us of the one conceded, whatever you do. I mean,
No,
I'm still having nightmares about that. I wake up in the middle of the night and see that one.
The re-establishing sort of Fortress Selhurst, one goal conceded in 4 games. I'm sure you sort of like to pay tribute to the defence of it.
Yes, thank you for allowing me to do so. I mean, I think defensively we are a very hard-working team. Everyone does, bring their straw to the water, if that's the right expression. People like Wilf Zaha, they don't just stand up the field and wait to be served with the ball. They come back and do their defensive work as well. Because as we all know, when I say we all know, certainly all of us who work with football teams, but all of you guys as well who see football teams every week, if you want to keep clean sheets, if you want to make certain that you're not going to concede goals, that's an 11-man effort. We've got an exceptional centre forward who literally does more than one can expect from him in terms of his defensive duties as well as his offensive duties. But certainly I thought we tightened up considerably in the second half from that 20-minute spell. I don't know quite how many minutes it was, but there was definitely a spell towards the end of the first half where I thought we started to sag with our defence, and they were getting the ball into the areas where we really didn't want them to have it, i.e. that corridor, if you like, between the midfield and the back players. And I thought we really tightened up on that second half. Got a better balance between the pressing, which of course had been very good at the start of the game, but was never going to be able to be maintained for 95 minutes. And in another era, having not still had that spectre of last week's, goal with 15 seconds left to play, which cost us 2 points, I might even have been feeling pretty comfortable during spells of that second half, because we got people around the ball. They were finding it very hard to find space either in front of us or behind us, and we were actually creating chances to put the game to bed. But it took a long while to do so, and I'm really happy that defensively, as you rightly say, we did that well. But I'm also happy for Andros Townsend, who hasn't had the best start to the season by his own admission. He's obviously an important player for us, and it was good to see him get that goal with an assist from Wilf Zaha. So, these are 2 important players for us in terms of our attacking play, and it was nice to see them combine to put this game to bed.
Just one final one from me. You mentioned Wilf Zaha with the assist there. He was involved in the first goal.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
For the penalty.
I'll give him that assist. The Premier League does it, but I'll give him that assist.
He perhaps has there was a turbulent summer, we all know that. There's so much was said, and perhaps a quiet start to the season by his standards. He was back changing the game today.
Well, I think he's done that in the last few games. I mean, I think he was even better against Wolves than he was today. He was good today, but I thought against Wolves he was even better. He had an excellent game against Wolves. The start of the season with the first 2 games, really. The first 2 games, perhaps he wasn't the Wilf that we know and love, but since that time he has been the Wilf that we know and love. And like I've said right the way through, like Steve has said right the way through, he's a player that we need and a player that we are very, very loath to lose. I'm realistic. I understand that one day we might not be able to bat off the interest in him. But luckily at the moment we managed to do that during the summer, and to his credit, he's got his head around that, and now he's focused on one thing and one thing only, that is helping Crystal Palace. Because don't forget, he is a Crystal Palace player. This is where he was brought up. This is the club that took care of him from his earliest years, and this is the club which has shown him so much love, not just in terms of Steve Parish and the club board, but the fans. So he's aware of all of that.
Okay, any more questions? Okay.
I just wondered if you could say a little bit more about Andros Townsend. What's it like to bring a player of that quality on when you perhaps need something a bit different later on in the game?
Well, I have to be careful there, to accept, to bring a player of that quality on. At the moment, certainly at the start of this season, Andros unfortunately hasn't really shown the qualities that we know he has. But we still very much believe in him. We still believe he's a man who's going to help us have another good season by playing well and scoring goals. But I can't sit here and suggest that Andros has been fantastic since the start of the season. If he hadn't been, he'd have been in the team. And the good thing about Andros is one of those few players that you can work with who's actually got a mirror that he looks in from time to time and actually asks himself the question: am I playing as well as I can play? Am I doing as much as I can do? Is it going well for me? And not the type of player who the moment he gets left out of the team, because perhaps he actually isn't playing that well, turns immediately on the coaching staff, the manager: it's all your fault because I'm a genius and you aren't.
And does he give you something to think about for next week?
Well, yeah, but to be fair, Jeffrey Schlupp gave me an awful lot to think about, so I'm always a bit worried when I get asked. I don't like criticising any player or even talking even remotely negatively about any player. But the fact is, the player who's actually playing in his place at the moment, Jeffrey Schlupp, I thought was outstanding today.
And obviously you pointed out that section in the first half where perhaps Norwich came into it.
Yeah, they did. We dropped off and they got into it.
What did you say at half time to kind of turn that round and get the pressure back on again?
No, we didn't say a lot because we had a game plan. It was just a matter of getting back to the game plan, which had worked so well for us at the start of the first half, and not being tempted to drop a little bit deeper because they were getting a bit more possession of the ball. But that also is a corollary of last week's unfortunate circumstance that today the victory was so important, so that at 1-0 you've actually got the lead and the victory you need, and there's always a temptation in those situations to drop a little bit deeper to protect that lead, but in doing so you're actually doing the wrong thing because you're giving them the space to play that they're looking for, and I think the players put that right in the second half.